Hey guys, my name's Austin. This is my gaming channel, Gaming Ain't Easy. So I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do for my first video, and I've got all these games that I've got a catalog for insurance purposes, so I figured I'd do a game room video, kind of show you guys my setup and what we're working with. So here we go. Alright guys, we're going to make this kind of quick. As you can see, this is my game room. I've only got a little under 1,000 games, so shouldn't be too long. Big Tennessee fan, go Vols. This used to be our garage, but we turned it into my game room because it was really too small to park any of our vehicles. This is my workstation, computer, little screen for streaming, Mario 3 poster, love that game. We'll start up here at the top. We've got just a bunch of console boxes and just random stuff. Stickers and toys, and there's my Virtual Boy, Game Genie, PS4, 500 million limited edition Pro. I love that console. The Daily Bugle I got from E3. Let's see. That Link statue is really cool. Got 2 Super NES Classic Editions, 1 NES Classic Edition. We'll be giving one of those Super NES Classics away at a convention we'll be attending in the next month or so. Pokemon N64 controller, Power Glove. That blue bag up there is kind of cool. It was a carrying case for the original NES. Got a Fortnite cup. Love Fortnite. My Rob the Robot. It has all of the pieces. I don't have the box for it. This is a really cool Link. It was made by one of our vendors at the Southeast Game Exchange. But yeah, that's a bunch of just random stuff up there. Let's start over here with the NES games. Maybe I'll pick out a few to comment on. So I grew up with 4 younger brothers, and so the majority of these games we would play like 2-player. So really, a lot of these games I've never even played before. And we did love playing... No, that's Tailspin. Strider. We loved playing Strider. Oh, and Indy Heat. That was 2-player race car game. We played that a lot. It's funny because none of us are really into race cars. Gunsmoke. We lived out in the country, so we were all pretending to be cowboys. Here's some of my more uncommon games. Bucky O'Hare has become one of my favorites. Did not have that growing up. Now, DuckTales 2 and Bubble Bobble 2 are actually from my collection from when I was a kid. Those turned out to be pretty uncommon. Go down. Darkwing Duck was another favorite. We really did like all of the like Disney games. Metal Mech, that was one that I looked for a long time. My cousin had that game, and I remember playing it as a kid, or watching him play it as a kid, and it took me a really long time to find it. Paperboy was a great one. Crazy Creatures, we played this a lot. It's kind of a really odd puzzle game, but we loved it. Snake Rattle and Roll, another 2-player game, kind of an adventure puzzler. G.I. Joe. We loved G.I. Joe. Uncharted Waters. This one was it's kind of an interesting game. I don't remember it being all that fun, but I remember playing it a lot. Alright, come back up here to the rest of the NES games. Jaws. Jaws was my mom's favorite game. We played McKids a lot. Again, it's a 2-player adventure side-scrolling game. Jackal, another 2-player game. Obviously, we played like the Mario 3s and all the Mario games. Rampart, we played that. You build each. It's a 2-player. Each person builds a castle. You have cannons. You have to like blow up the other person's castle. A lot of these games I have never even turned on. Flintstones. This game is one of the few games on the NES that I actually beat and completed. Alright, let's see. And then the last few uncommon games. Felix the Cat. Fire and Ice. This is a game I had when I was a kid. It's like another puzzle game. It's a lot of fun. Alright, and then we'll go to Super Nintendo. Earthbound. Sunset Riders. This game is a game that we would go to the movie theater and there was an arcade of Sunset Riders, and my cousin and my brothers and I, this is like, we would spend hours. We'd get my grandmother to take us, and we love that game. So I don't have near as many Super Nintendo games because growing up, we got a Super Nintendo just a few months before the Nintendo 64 came out. And so we really didn't spend all that much time playing the Super Nintendo. We went and traded the majority of our NES games in to go get a Nintendo 64. And so we pretty much played a lot of NES and a lot of N64. And this is just a system we didn't really get into that much, but has become one of my all-time favorite systems. There are some great games on this. Shaq Fu. Alright, now we've got the Sega. I never had a Sega Genesis until I was like an adult. So, I never collected for the Sega. These are just some games that I got that were complete, that were kind of fun. And then here's some other Sega Genesis games that I've kind of held on to just for the Southeast Game Exchange. We might do some speed runs, some kind of contest with the Sega Genesis. This year we got a friend of mine to make this game for us. It's the Blockbuster Championship 2. We used that as one of our tournaments. Got this cool pink dust cover for the NES. And we're going to go over to the Nintendo 64. Now this console, I'm about like 20 to 30 games away from completing. There's going to be a few games that do not have a sticker on, just because I either haven't gotten around to putting the sticker on it, or I've upgraded the label and I no longer have a sticker for that particular game. I really do not know why I wanted to complete this system, because the majority of the games aren't good. They just are not very fun. There's only a handful that still are aged well. So here's the more uncommon ones. I got all the major big ones. I played Clay Fighter Sculptor's Cut for like 5 minutes and realized it is a horrible, horrible game. Don't recommend anybody spending money on that game. This, Super Bowling, was by far the hardest game to find out of all of these. It was harder than Worms, Clay Fighter, the Bomberman Second Attack. That's the most uncommon one that I found. And again, some more games that have no title. Really didn't play a lot of Nintendo 64 games outside of Smash Brothers and some of the Star Wars games growing up. Oh, and the Mario parties. We played all of the Mario parties. Again, 4 younger brothers, we had to find games that could play 4 players. And then we just left our baby brother out. Lots of sports games on the 64. Never played one of them. Alright, so now, because the PlayStation 3 is like super cheap right now, I've just started picking up games whenever I run across them at yard sales. So there's not one game on the PS3 that I think I've spent over $5 on. There's actually a lot of games that I have not played on this system either. I think that's one reason I'm wanting to do this YouTube channel, is so that it forces me to actually play a lot of these games. Just a couple of random ones at the end there. And then here's my huge collection of PlayStation 1 and Sega Dreamcast games. Crazy Taxi, Mary-Kate and Ashley. There we go. Great games. Got a couple of the N64s. A few of the Wiis. I have that one Wii game, but wanted to get all the colored Wiis. Here's some more boxed games. Some of these are custom boxes. Some of them are complete in box. This was cool. Last year's Southeast Game Exchange, we had an NCAA Football 14 tournament, and one of our volunteers actually played on the Clemson team, so I got him to sign that copy. Here's a bunch of okay, so there's some amiibos in the back, but here's some toys and stuff that I've picked up at yard sales. And a fidget spinner. This is my favorite, Darkwing Duck. Here's some additional Super Nintendo games that didn't fit over on the other side. Fievel Goes West, that was my all-time favorite game, or my favorite cartoon movie growing up. I've only played about like 5 minutes of the game. It's actually a really cool game, but love that movie. Sunday Fun Day is one of my newer additions. I had that when I was a kid, but it's taken me quite a while to get it again. John Riggs NES Pursuit. It's a hack, kind of cool. Some more little characters down there. Alright, some more yard sale finds. Not into VHS tapes, but saw these. These were some of my favorites growing up as a kid, so wanted to grab them. My Virtual Boy collection. I had Red Alarm and Wario Land growing up, and it did not bother me. It like never gave me headaches or anything growing up. It does now, but I used to love the Virtual Boy. My PS4 collection, I don't really collect for it, but I do love it as a console, so here's the games that I have for it. Haven't played some of them. My one Xbox One game. I have some games downloaded on it, like Cuphead, but other than that, don't really. Oh, and Fortnite. Don't really play the Xbox One all that much. Here's my Switch collection. Trying to pick up some of the major titles, the big ones. Here's my Wii U collection. Thinking about downsizing the Wii U, even though I don't really have that many, but just because they're porting everything over to the Switch, I don't ever get my Wii U out anymore. That's the one I might keep just because it's apparently uncommon, the Hello Kitty cruisers. Some more yard sale finds, except for my trophy. I won a blackjack tournament on a cruise, so kept that. But a Smurfs lunchbox, G.I. Joe game, some Star Wars VHS. Now this Millennium Falcon I actually had when I was a kid, so wanted to keep that. Got a wagon full of Alfs. The wagon was my dad's when he was a kid from an old Bonanza playset. And then here's a bunch of just books, gaming books. There's a couple of Calvin and Hobbes comic books, some gaming art books that came out of some just collector's editions and stuff like that. Found this Pac-Man trash can for $1 at a flea market. Wanted to pick that up. This is going to be a giveaway for a charity event we're going to be hosting in November. We'll probably do a video about that. My Darth Vader. My brother uses that to scare my niece when they're in town. Right now I'm playing through Spider-Man. It is a fantastic game. And then this is just a bunch of random consoles. We use a lot of these consoles for the convention. And then some of them are just mine that I don't have hooked up. And then lastly, here's my shelf of Tennessee. And then a friend of mine bought those pillows for me. But that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. This is my game room. It's not big, it's not huge, but still enjoy it. A lot of fun. Alright, later. So that's my game room. For this new channel, I plan on playing a lot of these games that I've never played before. Giving you my thoughts and opinions on those. Also, any type of news for the Southeast Game Exchange, I'll be putting it on this channel as well. So if you like this, please hit that like button. Also, I'd love to hear any type of feedback and comments that you might have, and definitely subscribe. Thanks, guys.